Hello and welcome to Joyride with your hosts, the Metaphysical Moms, Tiffany and Carrie. Joyride takes you on a spin through all things spiritual and soulful, including holistic healing, energy work, and personal development. Now, here are your hosts, Tiffany and Carrie.
Good Monday morning. Hello. Good Monday morning to everybody. We're here on a Monday. Oh, are we having audio?
No.
Nope,
We're all good. Yeah, I'm just a little loud. I'm like rocking out to our little tune. Hey, everybody. How are you guys this morning? Surprise!
We're here on a Monday. I'm a mom on a field trip tomorrow, so we're here. We get to move things around sometimes just to accommodate our extracurricular activities, our other jobs, and we wear another hat. So,
yeah, that's exactly right.
How are you, Mamacita?
Man, I'm good. I'm doing well. I have this past weekend. We decided to do this show on the fly, and we want to kind of bring it all back in. We've been out dealing with the shift and aliens and some really fun stuff, and we still have the after show for the last show to post. That one's on me. And
well, we just have to say we went back to Carrie's house with Patrick DeHaan because we were talking all about extraterrestrials. We had a lot of questions that we didn't get to in the 1 hour show, and we sat at your dining room table for another 2 hours.
We did. Until
I finally had to leave, and then you guys stayed and talked for another hour and something. So, golly, that conversation is really cool. We'll post that on YouTube soon, the continued conversation with Patrick DeHaan.
Mr. DeHaan, Mr. Wonderful DeHaan. I can't wait to meet his wife. I mean, she sounds like such a fun person. Okay, so during all of this, Tiffany and I kind of came to this place of, I just feel like my skin's starting to sag and like I'm melting, and Tiff said, I feel the same way. What if we talk about that? Talk about aging and aging gracefully, and what does it mean, and what does going through the change mean, and what is just growing older? I mean, we talk about all this off-world stuff and this outer stuff, which is really fun, but this is real too. And how do we do it and not feel worse about ourselves, or not feel like we have to do things, or not judge people that decide to do surgeries and things? And I don't know, there's just so much here. And judging by my reaction to this past weekend, my husband, sweet man, was like, okay, I'm ducking out. I don't want to talk for the next 3 days.
I'm going to avoid you for the next few days.
Well, but for good reason. I mean, I live in this space where I think, oh my gosh, life just gets better and better, and I have these children and this amazing husband that I share this trip with. And if you go, I looked up some things on YouTube, which probably shouldn't have done, and I find these men that are like, oh my God, any woman after 40, and if you've had kids and you're nasty, and women are not what they were, and men, and this one man, I shouldn't have reacted, but I did. I had to send him a note. But he said that 90% of all men feel trapped in relationships. 90%? Who the hell is this guy? Anyway, so yes, I did. I invited him to listen in on the show, that we're not shrieky shrill and we're not, haters. But it was, so I started looking at this thinking, have I just lived in this place of statistically, is my sweet spouse going to leave me for a younger, better person?
Your brother's saying he's going on vacation with your husband.
Oh, no, you're not. God, Kelly, this is a show you decide to weigh in on? All right, anyway.
Well, hi to everybody who's joining us on Facebook Live. We love having you jump in here and say hi, so drop us a little line. I know we've got Kelly joining us. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
And Emma, good evening from Belgium. Birdie and Michelle, Steve. Hi, guys. It's so nice to pop in on your Monday morning and have this chat with you, because aging is part of this whole human experience. It's part of our spiritual journey. And yeah, I'm having some reactions to seeing the changes, feeling my body change, and the knee-jerk reactions to it. I'm really taking some time to look at it, and we've had quite a few conversations, and then we said, let's just throw it out there on the show about how aging is part of our spiritual journey, and maybe how to see it differently, how to frame it differently, and how to let go of some of that old paradigm stuff about aging being bad or becoming invisible or because
That's what they
I don't
say.
believe it. I just don't believe it.
Well,
But I can feel some of the impulses to go there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've done the Botox, I've done the injections, and I got to tell you, I freaking hate needles, and I don't like the knots they leave in my face, and I just look puffy and kind of weird, and I don't look like me. But then maybe that's what you're trying not to look like. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I won't say that I won't, and I won't say that I will again. I don't know. But it is. Do you know? Okay, I want to talk statistics. Do you know that last year, or maybe it was 2016, we being, I guess, the West, spent $274 billion
With a B.
dollars in
The beauty industry.
liposuction, creams, facelifts, just the whole 9 yards. And I think just
$274 billion. Let that sink in for a second. The beauty industry.
to make you look, and who the hell is filling us with this stuff saying, well, see, and that's what I'd like to go into because it's so interesting. Men, men can have babies, they can make them, and I mean, if it works, you can make a kid into your 80s. Women, we have an expiration. So biologically,
Just reproductive. Your
well,
reproductive
yeah, but
years.
that's what I'm talking about. And so you kind of wonder about that, you know? I mean, men, is there this innate need to go spread your seed? And poor Charles, I'm like, so you know, would you want more kids? And he's like, oh God, no, you know, no. What is he going to say? I mean, he knows I'm not having more babies, but it's, I don't know. So there is that innate, I think there's that biological side of it.
So doing some research for the show, we were researching that there's only a few species on Earth where the females live much past their reproductive years, and humans and some species of whales and a few apes maybe live past their reproductive years. And so genetically, most females, that's kind of what they're useful for. That's what they were bred to do.
We're breeders.
You're a breeder. And so we have a unique, and now that we're living longer, healthier lives, we live way past our reproductive years.
Right,
And
exactly.
so we kind of are having the time and the space to explore this as humans didn't live past 40 or 50 not that long ago. So we're kind of in a unique opportunity and unique situation to have this experience of being older male and females, and what all that entails.
Well, I mean, I think and I keep going back to this, I think the knee jerk is how you look and how you feel, and really more how you look, because we are in a society that values youth, values vitality, and I've been really trying to figure out what makes someone cute, what makes them, attractive, and I think it's I don't know. What do you think?
So some of the psychology of beauty, it's really a pretty fascinating thing to investigate, because there is sort of a widely accepted across humankind, even babies that are newborn babies, there's a symmetry to a male and female face. There's the high cheekbones and the wider eyes, and there's just a sort of a symmetry to the face that is considered attractive. And psychologists believe that this goes very back to the amygdala, to the primitive part of the brain that kind of recognizes that and considers it a favorable genetic profile for reproduction. It's sort of like we're just instantly consider it's going to be rewarded. There's going to be a positive benefit to being friends or mating with this person. We're just instantly attracted. So it goes way back to our primal instincts. So someone who is asymmetrical or doesn't have fresh, beautiful skin or hair or something, that this is my dad's hair. Hi, Dad, I think you're watching. He has this beautiful red hair too, so he passed down his genetically. I got lucky with the hair, thank you. But we're programmed, so we can't fight our programming.
Right.
So I'm not judging our programming, but like we had Ainsley McLeod on recently, and we talked about the soul age and how the younger souls, you know when you meet somebody who's an old soul, the younger souls are much more focused on this incarnation, this profile, this identity, this status, this image. And an older soul knows, they've had enough of that, where they know that, yes, that's important on some level, but it's as an older soul, you understand the other things that are important, the priorities of your character, your humor, your passion, your love, the innate qualities, the interior qualities, right?
Right.
Why are you laughing?
I'm just thinking of that new show out, or it's about to come out, where she gets bonked. She's she's doing a spin class and she gets bonked on the head, and she's she's kind of a big girl, and she's like, oh my God, I'm beautiful, and she just is freaking out, and it's like, I really wonder about that. If we all run around thinking we're just hot, go to a public pool and you will feel so much better about yourself. And I just love it when people just hang out, where they don't care and they're not covering up and they're not shy. Anyway, that was a little bit off. You asked me what I was laughing about. But Nora...
See, I can see the squirrels. They're running in a brain. I'm like, where are you going? Come on back.
Is it somewhere good? Actually, to expand on that, Nora Yolis Young was saying that you also sit down and you decide what type of body do you want. I mean, do you want to be in a wheelchair? Do you want to be a super gorgeous take on the world, or do you want to be a little bit heavy? That they all provide you with different experiences, and you pick that. And she had this one person she worked with that said, I don't want to be really, really attractive, because life really is different when you're really attractive. It's sort of like the How.
Shallow How.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
With Gwyneth Paltrow and Jack Black. That was an interesting show. And Gwyneth had a lot to say about it as an actress when she would wear the suit that, added the pounds. She's like, oh my gosh, I would completely treat it differently.
I stopped looking at the scale with probably 2 or 3 weeks to go with my kids, and with each one I topped out over 205, 215. I was huge. And each time coming back down, when I would lose the weight, I would think, okay, good, I'm back. And then I'd see the pictures. I'm like, that's not what I look like. It's so weird how what you think you look like is not what you look like. And I think that's what throws me. And it really is that shift into, I don't think I'll ever be in a place where I just go gray. I don't think I have gray hair. I mean, when I shaved my head and it came back in, I did not have gray hair. And that was 4 years ago. But I might. Who knows? As my son said, you'll never know because you always highlight your hair. But I don't know. You are treated differently is what I meant to say, too, is that, people don't open the door for you. People, and that's okay, too. I mean, it's interesting.
But you were saying that as a soul, before you incarnate into this body, you and your guides help select a body type that will teach you the lessons that you came here to learn.
Exactly. Think about that. Think about whether you're happy with your body or you're not, or you have different issues, that you chose that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that with you often talk about that with Daniel.
Yeah, so my son has come in with a rare physical condition that has limited his mobility, and we talked quite a lot, and we've had shows with Emma. Hi, Emma. I know you're watching in Belgium, about kids that come in with autism or special needs, any kind of things that you come in with like that. It's your higher self giving your human self an experience that only that particular physical circumstance, whether it's a mental challenge, a physical challenge, you're going to have a very different experience than somebody else by design.
Right, exactly.
And so not to fight your body type, not to fight the color of your skin or the shape of your body, whether you're pear shape, apple shape, whatever you are. That's your genetic imprint. That's what you came in with. And there's beautiful lessons to be learned from it, right? It's all about self-acceptance and learning to love the skin you're in at whatever age you are in. So
harder to do. I think it's harder to do. And that's and that kind of brings me to the next thing of, I am from a family that's really young. And so I remember when my grandparents were my age, or my grandmother was. Kelly, tell me if that's right. Because I'll be 47 on the 21st.
In 2 weeks.
That's our show anniversary for 2 years.
2 years.
Is April 21st. Isn't that cool?
2-year anniversary coming
2016. Anyway, so there is a wrong. I mean, there is this. I don't know. I was trying to say it in a way that. So when I had my first son, I just you sit down, you have to fill out all the stuff, and it's like grandmother. Let's see, Gigi and Mama Joe, mother. my mom's name is Nora. Okay. It's like, oh my God, no, they're talking about me.
Your mother.
I'm the mother. My mom's the grandmother. And it's like we just kind of got bumped up a rung. And so I've always felt like I don't know how old I am. I mean, I had kids kind of late. There are a lot of folks that are grandmothers by my age, but I'm always with friends that have kids about the same age that are my age, so I don't know how old I am. And so it's sort of, that's why when I found these two boneheads online, sorry about that, but their perspectives I thought were just idiotic. And when they were saying that, it's like, I'm technically supposed to, I guess, wear a frock and I don't know, just let myself go because I'm pretty much useless. And really my husband's lying to me that he really doesn't want to be. That's, again, the way I interpreted this. But that, I think there are folks that kind of feel that way, that you get older and that if you're older, you're irrelevant.
Irrelevant, and they have their right to that opinion, and they'll attract a female that feels the same way, and they'll have an experience of that. But we don't. There's everything out there for you. Whatever you want to believe, you can believe. So fine, let them have that belief.
She's much nicer. I actually texted her and I said, listen to this guy, and if you really want me to take my post away, I will.
No, feel free to do what you want. I just we can't fight the human biology of how our body responds, but I believe we can transcend that like we do with everything. We can transcend those old beliefs and evolve into something that values age and your wisdom at any age. So I think my children have taught me so much more than I've ever taught them.
I agree.
The youth of it. But I'm learning to see my skin and my hair and my muscles and the tone and the shape of my body. I'm just learning to see it as just that tiny expression of me and not the whole thing. I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket anymore.
I think that's what it is. I think it's that transition from I mean, because at some point when you're 80, you've walked through it, right? You've walked through that part of it. And so it's between now and 80 or 70 or, at some point, it's not that you give up, but you just say, okay, you know what, the Botox, I'm not going to look like a cat that sucked on a vacuum. I mean, that's not my goal. I don't want to look like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want that. But so I think you're a little bit ahead than
well, I just feel like we're searching for this, like youth is better.
Right.
The youth is better. The pretty is better. The buff guy is better. Why? Who said that's better?
You know why I think that is? So you know how you crescendo, like if you see it, it looks like that, right? And then you crescendo, and then you
the bell curve.
No, well, it looks like this. It's I can't say the word, diminuendo and crescendo, and I think that it's a. So I think it kind of looks like this, and your vitality and your it's you start out as a baby, and then you get full of life. I was looking at this Burt Reynolds. He's in this new show, and oh my gosh, he was so hot, Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, just so full of vigor and piss and vinegar, and now it's like you start out as a kid, you reach this peak, and then you come down to almost being like a kid again, where people take care of you, and maybe there's a fear in that. I don't know. I mean, it's like losing. I don't know that it's necessarily that I think it's everything that represents. You know what I'm saying? It's the vitality, the life. It's like your body is so full of life when we're younger, not little, but in that 30s, 40s. Because most people say that when a family, when they come back to visit them, they're always in that same age range, like 30 years old, and like that's where they felt the strongest and the best versions of themselves. I don't know, but I wouldn't go back. That's the thing. I wouldn't go back to any part of my life. I like right now. So. Cryon actually also says that you can tell your cells to kick at halftime, like to age halftime.
Like slow down the aging process. There's all kinds of spiritual and metaphysical energies that can be tapped into to help your cells stay vital. So my thinking,
Emma said,
instead of fighting aging, I'm just embracing vitality and however that looks. And I talk to my mom in spirit all the time, and she's saying, your body is deteriorating, and that's part of the process of living. Everything is evolving and dying. And they're like, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotting. I mean, if you're what?
Am I dying?
No, it meant vitality. When you feel like you're done, you start to rot. But if you're green, you're growing. So as you keep this youthful vitality, this curiousness,
curiosity,
there's always something to learn, somewhere to explore. That never stops. And the brain science is proving that the hippocampus, the cell regeneration in the brain, continues your entire life. It doesn't stop as you reach a certain age unless you don't use it.
So why do we slow down, though? I mean, so why do we say, okay, I'm going to watch my programs and I'm going to stay at home and I don't want to go out? Is it a fear? I mean, that's, like, why do we slow down? Because I can't imagine staying at home all day, every day.
Well, I think some of it is programming, right? Some of it is we're programmed to slow down. We're tired. Our body is aching. Maybe we're not taking care of it. Or cumulative bad habits have added up to where your body's saying enough. And maybe it's time to revisit some of that stuff. I know I'm certainly cleaning up. My diet is as clean as it's ever been with the caffeine and the sugar. I just don't.
Tiff, you want some wine? No. Tiff, you want a pizza? No. Tiff, I'm like.
But I enjoy the foods that I'm eating. I'm not saying no because I'm trying to limit and find something else, because they don't make me feel as good as they used to.
You're right.
I really don't want them. They don't make me feel good anymore. They actually taste delicious, and so I never say no completely, but they just don't taste as good like they used to.
And you're really sweet about that, by the way.
I do drink wine sometimes, and I enjoy everything.
I'm not saying that defensively. No, she's wonderful. I've been with friends that are like, I don't eat this, and I'm not one of those. And they're obnoxious, and they won't go to those restaurants. Tiff's like, I'll always find something, even if I have to get a potato. I'm fine. And so, no, you're very sweet.
I love my potatoes.
I like my potatoes. You do. You eat all mine.
So we're talking about, why do we age? What a great question. Why do we age? Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I think we stop growing. We stop taking care of ourselves. Part of it is giving up. We accept the value that has been given to us, especially as women, that if you are not a beautiful, vivacious, curvy woman anymore, you're not as valuable. I don't think that's true, but we don't recognize our wisdom. I think Bertie was saying it somewhere. I was looking for your quote, Bertie. The crone is not valued in today's society, but in other cultures, revered.
We've got to rebrand that crone thing. I mean,
we need rebranding. Thank you, Bertie. You guys are on the same wavelength. We need that rebranding. And you were saying in the orcas or the whales, the pilot whales, whatever.
Yes, I love this. And this is okay. So if you go to YouTube, there really are some great TED Talks on this, and some of them are hilarious. So Connie Schultz, that one was actually really good. I cried twice. She was saying that killer whales, that they are some of the only whales, the
only other species where the females live past their productive years.
Yeah, 30, 40 years. But when they do, they become the boss of everyone. And so it's like, I like that. I will become the boss of you, Kelly. So, no, it's true. But, you're talking about that mental thing, and I know I've said this before, that I remember I was about 40. I got depressed. And I was thinking, oh, my God, I mean, I have my forever home. Like at some point you rent, and then maybe you decide to buy, or you decide, you kind of are in flux. And one day I'll get married. One day I'll have kids. One day I'd like to have my business. One day. Well, I'd kind of checked off all those boxes. And I really came to this place of, oh, my God, now what? I wait for grandkids and to get a freaking RV, which, by the way, my father and my stepmother are at the Grand Canyon right now in their RV. And they love it. And so it's really cool. And I'm not putting that down. I'm just not in that place yet. And that's what I've been told, is you will reach that place. But I thought, what next? And here we are. We're doing this show. We've got a lot of things planned. And it's like life just gets bigger and better.
And I love the work of Mantak Chia. He teaches you about your internal energy. And he's got many books on it and YouTube videos and center in Bali. Is it Bali? And he teaches you how to cultivate your own energy, your own vitality, your chi, and to reverse the aging process and to retain this youth, because he believes that we drain away our energy all the time. We drain it away through our eyes when we're watching TV. We drain it away when we're stressed about life. And you can literally feel that energy drain at the end of the day. and that we over a lifetime have drained away our energy, and that we can learn how to keep it, cultivate it, and grow it within us and learn it. So there's amazing books. It's the I'll post it on the link when I get to it, but it's the I'll have to bring it. The universe, it's the microcosmic orbit is the practice that he teaches, but I can't remember the name of his books right now. But it's the sexual energy, the creative energy, and that it's just all internal ways to cultivate that and reprogram yourselves to retain this vitality. And that does slow the aging process, which is like icing on the cake.
Right. Right. I'm just laughing. Bobby likes this show.
You determine that in what way?
Because you're paying attention to it.
Oh.
He's listening to the audio. I'm going to say hi to some of our folks who are joining us. Hi to Emma. She's saying, quit reading your mind, Carrie. Aging is an accumulation of absorbed and created energies and beliefs. We're programmed to believe that all life ends and will age and be old becomes being dysfunctional physically and mentally. So let's reprogram these beliefs that we have to age and become dysfunctional and break down.
Well, and that's something else that, okay, so there were 2 YouTube, and I think I posted them. They were on either Joyride Show's page or my page, Carrie Walker. She says, okay, so Connie Schultz says there are 3 things that you can do to really kind of jazz into that next phase. And it says that, what is it? I can't read my writing. Anyway, the voice of no. Don't listen to it. When like she has a friend that went back, and I do too, that went to med school at 42. 42. Most of us say, oh, I can't do that, I'm too old. Well, you know what? You'll reach that age anyway. You'll reach, at least then you have a med degree that you're really excited about. And then she also says, do not wait to be invited to be a difference in the world. And you can do that at 75. You can do that. You can do that anytime. And that's. I love that just because we're older, it's not a game for the young. People love to say that, and I reject that. I reject this whole industry that tells me I'm not enough, and I'm not young enough, or I'm not this enough or that enough. No.
So I'm just looking it up. It's Montag Chia's The Healing Light of the Tao. He's got dozens and dozens of books in here, all about how to cultivate this inner alchemy of energy and not drain it away in all the various forms and beliefs and practices that we do, and that they're really some simple things. First of all, hydration, sleep.
Sleep is a big one.
Good nutrition, some exercise or movement, doing something that you love, whether it's dancing or getting a group of girls together to walk or walking with your pets.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing's a huge one.
In relationships, so that inner beauty that comes through with your smile, with your vitality, with being interested in doing what you love is so attractive. And seeing a beautiful, perfectly symmetrical, beautiful woman, or seeing someone who's alive from the inside with a smile and, maybe not as picture perfect, which one would you rather hang out with? One's pretty to look at, but one is just beautiful in the heart. And maybe they both are. I'm not judging the beautiful. She can be too. I'm saying
give it a shot.
That
Give the other one a shot.
Cultivation of beauty and passion and excitement. It's just so gorgeous. So what is beauty anyway, right? The eye of the beholder. And it changes from culture to culture and from century to century. What's, the typical definition of a beautiful person anyway?
I can answer that for me. So I remember throughout, my high school, beyond, there have been people in my life that really I never even knew. I met them, and they would have something unique about them, like something, and I always thought they were just stunning. And looking back, they probably really weren't. It was just this
authenticity.
This way they carried themselves. It's like they lived outside the paradigm. They lived outside the mainframe of what is supposed to be. And I always loved that. I mean, that's what I've always, I don't know. That's what I've always found attractive. People that go out on their own and have their own mind, whatever that looks like.
And that doesn't have to stop at any age, right?
No.
I mean, there never has to be a limit on what you can do. Like you said, your friend that went to med school in her 40s, or Julia Childs didn't start cooking and doing her thing until later in life. I mean,
is that right?
Yeah, there's so many people who have done amazing things later in their life. So we just want to inspire you to wherever you're at on your journey, just Do what inspires you physically, emotionally, mentally. Dance, sing, hang out with other friends.
Make creams.
Oh, yeah. And that's another beauty
Birdie.
tip, a natural tip. So I go as natural as I can with the products. I don't like to use anything that's super chemical, or I never buy the latest fad creams and stuff, because I honestly, there's probably some merit to the biology of cell rejuvenation, but I think it's very surfacey, and we spend billions and billions of dollars on these things hoping that it's going to like fix every little thing, and that's not where it's at. So, but natural products, coconut oils, but Birdie's, let's do a plug for Talibird.
Oh, Talibird, if you go to her website, her stuff is I use it. I love it. It's easy. It's fast. It's not this stuff that's going to break the bank. It is, and she makes it batch per batch. And so it is, you know exactly what's inside of it. And
so Birdie, drop your link in here to Talibird. I think it's talibird.com, and it's natural beef tallow.
But it's grass-fed, organic.
But I'm a veggie girl,
Well,
so
she
you
also
made
has
me
the oil too.
You made me one with the babasua oil, which was really good, which was a plant oil. But anyway, there's these really nice whipped creams and different scents, and you can custom make a label for your company or your event as gifts. And
well, and what
we
I
love
love
them.
Everybody, so I just happen to have some of them with me, and there's a scrub, and it's rice bran is the rough part, and it smells, and it's like whipped souffle, and everybody that I say, hey, ooh, check this out, I just found this, they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get this? They all buy it. I mean, just by smelling it and trying it, because it's not like heavy perfumey, and it's all natural oils. It's just wonderful. Yeah, I can't say enough. And she's just such a lovely person. So it's like love is going into each little jar. So I love
here's
that.
Birdie. I always wanted my own business and started a natural skincare company at 57. Yeah, right there in your kitchen, whipping up your stuff. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think aging really does make you start asking those hard questions of, why am I here? Have I done what I came here to do? Instead of just focusing on the surface, like, who really am I? Am I doing what I came here to do? Am I being true and authentic to myself? Am I letting everybody else's opinions dictate who I am?
Well, at some point you just say, fuck it, I don't care. You know, I mean, what you think of me.
Well, you
I love that
can.
term.
Many people don't.
I mean, it is, and that's tough. That's actually tough. I love to say stuff like that, but then the reality is, I really don't care if they like me anymore. And I don't know. But you're right. And for me, it's more of a, so Barbara Marcianiak, I don't know if I'm saying that right. She says that it's by design that we die in fear, that it's our mindset. Oh my God, I got to go to the doctor, and this is happening, and that's happening, and this is falling apart, and this aches, and that we start focusing, and it gets you focus on it, and what you focus on gets bigger, right? And that the idea to die in fear and to die with completely drugged out, and that's by design to some degree.
Why would that be by design?
Well, that's a whole other story, and those of you that know will know. But you can set the intent that I want to live this long, this happy, healthy life. And my mom and stepdad have a business. It's a healthcare. And I was doing some work with them at one point. I'm like, oh my God, this aging thing is just really sad. It's depressing. She's like, go mall walking. Just go mall walking. They're healthy. I mean, you're seeing the ones that need help. But it's, there are a lot of folks that are really just loving life. And so that's Frankie and Grace, or Grace and Frankie. I love that. They create their own business.
You're making vibrators and lubricants and all that stuff. Yeah, Frank and Gracie and Frank. It's hilarious.
Frank and Gracie. Yes.
Okay, I'm not following what you were saying there about why we're programmed to die.
Well, if you think about it, when you watch TV, my kids and I love to watch the drug ads, and at the very end, they're all like, oh yes, and your face will clear up, your eczema will go away, but then your bowels might fall out, and your eyeball will fall out, and other than that, it's good, you're good to go. But there are all these drugs, and oh, you have this ache, this pain, this, and that when you're drugged up at the end of your life, which a lot of us are, that we're confused, and when we crossing is very difficult when you're confused and you're out of it, and you're
saying by design, from being marketed to and being sold a bill of goods to by
Right.
design. That's
well, yeah.
Okay. I was like,
Pretty
that's
much.
not by
not by
that-
their design. I
it's
mean,
like, what
no,
do you
not on the
mean?
light side. I'm talking about on the dark side, but it's
Because we all
There's
know,
an
right?
energetic
There
piece.
is no death. There's no, we just say, okay, I'm done with this physical body, back into the light, and decide to come back as another physical body on this planet or somewhere else. So, yeah, once you get past that, and we just know this is just a, what do you call it, a meat bag?
a meat bag. That's what Terry said. Terry McManus, we got to hang out with Terry and Michelle yesterday.
We did. Hi, Terry and Michelle. They came down to go on a cruise and swung through Houston, so we got to go have a little breakfast with Terry and Michelle, and they're so sweet. Thank you for our little turtles. Oh, I didn't wear mine today. I meant to wear mine today. Okay, next week we'll wear our turtles.
So, Emma, I haven't told you this. Emma was telling me about a friend that she has, and she and her family are talking about crossing dying in a very different way, that it's more of a celebration. And it's interesting because my grandmother crossed, Nora had a friend that crossed recently, Mitch had a friend that crossed, or someone in his life that crossed. So many people, same with Kim, and that we're all talking about this, and it's like we know where they go, and we know where they go. Yet there's this human side of us that mourns and is sad, and so then Emma was telling me that she has a friend that Emma, I'm not sure if I have this right, but it was the mother and the sisters, and they all held space, and it was a celebration, and they helped her cross, and saying how we can do this differently, and that there are actually different cultures that say, woohoo, you went home, this is awesome, and yes, I'm going to miss you and I'll cry, but this is really a great thing. So instead of it being sad in this hole, and we grieve and we mourn, and maybe that's why we mourn so much when people are taken out, when their life force is so high still. Maybe by the end your life force is so drained that it's like, okay, my tank is empty, I'm going home, versus it's still really full. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know if that's clear.
What is, and a lot of times when I do my EFT work with a client and they're in a lot of fear, I'll often say, okay, go to the worst case scenario. What is it you're afraid of? And often they're like, I'm alone. They have a mental image of, I'm old, I'm alone, I don't have any resources, I don't have any relationships. And it's this fear, not of death, but of living alone and not being able to take care of yourself. And that is what we're usually most afraid of.
Right.
Is this fear of being abandoned and not having the ability, or feeling loved, feeling ostracized. And so, but for most people, that's not true. Most people don't ever have that experience. Especially if you take care of yourself, you have relationships with families, there are places that you can go. I mean, most people don't end up dying alone and afraid.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, most people, there are many care centers that can take care of you, family members that will take you in. I just think the fear of dying alone is what keeps people from living often.
Yeah, that's well said. That's true. I think that's true.
The fear of being alone, so it would stop you from cultivating this community of close relationships, because you fear that I won't have that. I don't know if that's kind of a reverse psychology there, but
that's like Prince's song, Let's Go Crazy. So Miles and I are really getting into Prince, and Prince's song, oh my God, I don't know why. I mean, I've listened to him growing up, but all of a sudden it's just, he's this metaphysical stuff. And it's like we go to the psychiatrist, when you see that shrink in Beverly Hills, the one, Dr. Feelgood, and then he says something to the effect of, you want to know how long you're going to live. It's like you're really focused on how long will I live instead of just living.
Well, and so many people are afraid of being alone and old and not being able to take care of themselves. But why do we have this perception that they are? I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's this, why do we not value them more and incorporate them more? I've seen some...
In our society, we cast them out.
Yeah, we do in some realms. So it is some truth to that we cast them out. Why are they not more included? And I know it's difficult to have, and I both of my parents here, my stepdad and my mom have passed away, so I don't have elderly parents to take care of. So I know it's a challenge with work and kids and everything. To home
responsibility.
It's a big responsibility. It's a big financial responsibility for the care. But I feel like we should change that. I've seen these YouTubes where they have college kids living in nursing care centers. You know, they've teamed them up so that the older folks are teaching, helping the younger ones, and the younger ones are kind of injecting all this life force into it. And it's a beautiful relationship where we're not pushing the older folks out and away.
I have to say that that's really true, because there's a person that lives she lives right by the park, and she's really, I mean, I would say she's probably 95, 96, and she still lives at home, and she has this garden that's incredible. And I'll go by at night, and I'll drive by, and I always wonder about her. It's like, is she sitting there watching TV? Is she asleep? What is she doing? And I can't imagine. That was the thing with my grandmother, my mom's mom, is that, you know, when I would go see her, I'd spoon her. I would get in bed with her, and I'd hold her, because you're never touched.
I was thinking about that. That's why you have your cats everywhere. Because you just
seriously, and or those little critters that have the batteries that make them breathe. Because it's. I mean, I'm touched all day long. My kids, you know, hugging people, my husband, and to be in a place where you're not touched. I mean, that just you know, humans crave connection. So I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to see how other cultures do it.
Well, Emma's saying it's only in the Western cultures, because the majority of countries in the elder generations are considered wise. Yeah, and here, why do we do that, where we don't value the wisdom of I'm not saying across the board, but in general, we don't value the wisdom.
Okay, David, you're up, and it's interesting that you're on this show. I'm sorry to cut you off there. So David is a very successful, just in life man. He's a very successful attorney. He's been in movies. He's written one. Incredible. Bullfighting, not real bullfighting. This is the fake bullfighting with the Velcro, so nobody dies. So it is, I mean, he's just doing some really cool stuff. But David likes to date much younger women. And David, you missed the beginning of the show. I was pissed off at some of these YouTubes that I would watch, where women over a certain age are just kind of cast out. And so he's like, okay, I'm getting off now. He's driving, so he can't listen in. But it is interesting. I would like to know your perspective on that. It's because I always feel that, what movie was it with, not Meryl Streep, the one with Jack Nicholson, and he goes out with the daughter, and then he ends up with the mom.
Oh, Diane Keaton. No.
Yeah, I love that. And she was like, we just get better as we get older, and we're forced to. And here we are dancing with our girlfriends, and the guys are with it. But I think that's a way over exaggerated reality, I hope. So anyway, David, I'm sorry to throw you under the bus like that, but I'm really not.
So Bobby Joe, hi Bobby Joe. The older generation is cast aside. That's not saying they aren't loved, but the younger generation seems to be busy all of the time. Yes,
that's true.
As good as it gets. Love that movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. As good as it gets.
There's some little nuggets in that one.
But I mean, I've seen some people where they're just rocking older age. They are running marathons or dancing or still doing gymnastics.
They're not worried about their knees
at 80 and 90. What was that lady? It was for the Ironman, I think, or the triathlon. They just had it, and she's grandma, and she's out there biking. She's a nun. I don't know, I have to post this. She's a nun, and she's out there biking,
clean
swimming,
living.
Running, and she's passing these little young whippersnappers, and this is like her 40th Ironman or something ridiculous. It's like
Ironman? Wait, Ironman?
Yeah, some like really hardcore physical endurance thing that she's been doing every year, and it just blows your mind when you see people who are just really pushing the envelope of what you can expect. So I did a couple of workshops this weekend. Classes, workouts. Dr. Deb Kern, who came into town, she was on our show talking about women's the divine goddess, the divine energy of being a female. And it was a beautiful class because she took us all through. She's like, I'm not going to talk, I'm going to take you through it. And so it was all about movement and mantras and breath and sound. And we did like sexy dance. We did like, the Shakta Kaldi dance. We did nurturing. It was all like all these different aspects of the female form, and it's not all just the va-va-voom stuff. There's so much to being a female, and she took me way past my comfort zone physically because.
Did you have a mirror?
It's all in the mirror.
No, I mean the mirror.
No, not that.
That's my boundary. No, I'm not looking at it.
She's talking about looking at the female workshops where you look at you embrace all of yourself with the mirror, and like no, not that.
Yeah.
We were dancing, And so I've been with these amazing women, but it takes me beyond my physical comfort level of like activity, because I'll do a little bit of walking and stretching and yoga and swimming, but I don't do the hardcore stuff like I used to anymore. But man, I rocked it this weekend and I'm so sore today.
We're sore from that yoga we did
I
a
am
week
so
ago.
sore, but it makes me realize how much I am capable of if I will push myself out of my comfort zone. But I don't regularly push myself out of my comfort zone. So I'm actually asking, how do you get yourself out of your comfort zone to push yourself to learn something new, take that class? How do you do that on a regular basis to keep yourself strong and engaged and not just kind of sit back and...
Well, for me, it's always like, oh, I'm going to a reunion. I need to get in shape. But I used to work out twice a day, and I was way too skinny, and I didn't, balance has been one of my major things in this life. I had a great ass, but there wasn't a lot going on up here, or whatever. But it is my most nurturing mama bear, but I weigh 200 pounds. I mean, it is finding that balance has been difficult. But I keep putting off saying, okay, I really want to work out to see what my body can do before there's a point of no return, but maybe there isn't a point of no return. I mean, maybe, you know what I mean? It's like when you're 25 and you work out, you see the results quickly. Not as much as you get older. So, but there are people that I know that are just gorgeous and have the body of a 20-year-old. And anyway, and it also keeps, my great aunt is incredible, and she is 82, I believe, and she started doing yoga at, I think, 70-ish. She was younger, like she's much younger than she was when I knew her. She was a research scientist. She's very buttoned up. She's very, medical, and now she's like loose and kind of lets her freak flag fly. She doesn't really have one. I mean, she does, but it's, and she's so much fun, and it's like she's become more youthful as she's gotten older. So I don't know. So has people answering. There's your dad.
Oh, hi. He's saying, if someone spent their life vegging out on the couch watching TV all the time, can you really expect them to be able to contribute in their advanced years? Probably not. That's why we're trying to engage and ask.
Not new dialogue.
Yeah, let's say, how can we be productive all these years? How can we contribute to ourselves all these years? So talk about you do acrobatics and fire spinning and stilt walking, and you have always been very active. I think I get a lot of my vitality from you.
Yeah, I love looking at his pictures. Okay, read David's response.
What did David say?
Okay.
I really feel women a little older are beautiful. I have a little crush on this beautiful divorced 48-year-old, but is it bad that I still want a child? Most women a little older don't even consider it anymore, hence why I have to date younger. This 48-year-old is beautiful.
So
I want a mini-me.
So when you were younger, I don't know. That's interesting. That is really interesting. No, it's not wrong to want what you want. It's not wrong to be who you are and want what you want. But it's I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you have a crush on a 48-year-old. That's great.
But yeah, I mean, typically most women are having their babies in their 20s and 30s and into their 40s, but that is often a little later, just biologically, to start a family. It's not impossible, but
you know what though? That's actually gone up. Okay, so I looked at stats on all of this, and people are getting hitched much later. It's creeping up. It used to be 20s. I think people now getting. Hold on. What am I trying to say? So 25-year-olds. It's becoming a lot. I mean, like that's like the bottom, the youngest now, and even from there, because we're living so much longer, and people are going to college and they're getting advanced degrees and they're doing these different things, and so people get married older, and some people don't want to get married, and that's great too. So,
well, I know when I think my first child was 35, and on my form it automatically said advanced AMA. And I was like, what is AMA? And it's like advanced maternal age, and I was like, I'm 35, and like it's automatic. As soon as you hit 35, biologically your egg quality is supposed to like start tanking. But my doctor's like, nah, don't worry about that. People, 40 is the new 20. You can have babies well into your 40s.
So I have 3 kids due to bad math. I say that jokingly, but it is. We thought I was going to have a hard time getting pregnant, and no, my last one was at 38. And I had my tubes tied because I know I would have had one more. I followed women around the grocery store for a while crying, but I knew, and I couldn't do it.
Well, this is obviously a super complex subject. We're just wanting to have a conversation about it. We're in our late 40s and starting to see things change and feel different, and just kind of opening up that topic of how do we reframe this next chapter in our lives where we're not fighting something, we're embracing what is there.
I love that. We're not fighting it, we're embracing it. And what if we didn't know our age? That's what I love. It's like, what if we really, I know doctor's sake, I guess we're supposed to know our age, but what if we really did know our age? And how old would you be?
30s, 33.
I think 35.
Yeah, I feel 30s.
I wouldn't want to go back, though. To any age, I would not go back. Just wouldn't go back.
And I've been reading a lot of Anthony William, the medical medium. He's got an amazing series of books and talking about chronic illnesses, just things where people just have fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis and all these things that kind of start showing up as you get older. And he's saying a lot of that is just cumulative toxins and viruses and things and stress that you just haven't dealt with, but dealing with them with natural remedies and all the protocols he suggests and healthy mind, body, spiritual practices. It can really help you feel good in your body. So if you're dealing with chronic aches and pains of getting older, there's a lot of things you can do. And we were talking about the slowing downness of being older really gives you time to go within. A lot of people in ancient cultures, they say the spiritual practice doesn't really start until you're in your 40s, because that's when you have the wisdom of all of the years of experience to actually be able to go inside and see things from a much bigger perspective than you can't possibly know in your teens. And
the last two folks we've had on our show, their gifts didn't really come online until mid-40s, Ainsley and Patrick. I think it's throwing away, and David, this is going out to you too. I think that it's throwing away what is supposed to be, what you think is supposed to be, because I know with my guides, I was asking them last weekend about the show, and they said, well, we're not going to tell you where it's supposed to head. And I said, well, what can I do? Well, just keep doing you. Okay, but where are we going? We're not going to tell you. And they said, because you will get an idea from your perspective of what things are supposed to look like. And so when things do show up, you'll say no, because it's not what you think it's supposed to look like. So it's getting rid of it completely and just doing you and letting life and being open enough for life to happen and letting go of what is supposed to be. Boom. There it is.
Well, and like I was saying, I was talking to my mom in spirit, and she's saying aging is part of this process. It's part of being in a human body, and you want to age out of this, and it's kind of a checkout point. You don't want to be stuck in it forever. You want to come in and out and have a new experience. So, but here's a little practice that I do when I am critical of myself on something, that I see a new wrinkle or gray hair or whatever. I offer myself a compliment for something that I love, something I do well, something I still like, so I'm instead of just constantly that negative self-talk of I shouldn't, and now I've lost this, and now I can't do this. Give yourself a positive too, at least counterbalance it, or give yourself 2 compliments so that you can stay ahead of the curve there. And
really believe them.
And love them. Yeah, and love them.
Well, and I want to go back. You had asked this question, and I think this is a tough one for me, because I am looking for the spark, and I don't want to wait for it to be a sickness or to be a this or a that. I want the spark that gets my ass in the gym. We are members of the most beautiful gym ever, with every class you can imagine, and I go there to eat. That's it. She drags me to something now and then, and I really go there to eat. And I really need, it's not that I want to start moving, but I can always think of 20 other things I need to do.
Well, that's what I was saying. What is that catalyst that can get us there? Like that daily, because I get in that groove sometimes, but like consistently, what is that groove to get in sometimes to get you to push past your comfort level?
Yeah.
Physically.
We're going to look.
And so if y'all have any tips, I'm like seriously asking, what is it, that vitality drive to pull you, to get you to do the workout? And it's something you got to love. I don't want to run on a treadmill. I will go run. We go walk the Arboretum, which is a natural hilly path to be outside.
We haven't done it in 6 months.
I know. So what is it that gets you there? every day or consistently enough, whether it's going to learn a new dance class, learn a new something, a sport that you love.
Practice. That's a good point. Okay, Tiffany's daddy, I agree with you, and that's what we don't do in the West. We do not do the preventative. We do it with vitamins and that type of thing. We do
medicines.
Yeah, I mean, that's like
medication?
The doctor's basically.
Oh.
I don't mean to put it down, but it is more of a pop this pill and this pill and this pill once you're sick. So
So if you're sick, first thing, make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Make sure you're getting plenty of water. Make sure you're getting plenty of good, natural, organic, if you can, healthy fruits and vegetables and lean, grass-fed produce. Meats and you know what I'm saying. Make sure you're getting some kind of exercise, doing something that you love.
It's like a plant. Treat yourself like a plant. It needs good water,
space, light,
and
air,
exercise. They don't exercise, but yeah.
They look at little curls. Before you start taking pills, start practicing some of this and take away a bad habit here and there. Take away whether it's obviously smoking or excessive drinking, or see if you can back off on something that you know isn't that great for you and step into something that does feel good for you.
Replace it with something.
Yeah.
Well, it's like MST. I replaced having a glass of wine with MST. It's so much better. So I love this topic. We have about 3 minutes left. And
oh, no, we're just getting started. Birdie's saying, treat it like a job. You're paid with the healthy benefits. The trick is find what you love. You never forget to brush your teeth, right? So make it part of your routine. Find something that makes you feel amazing. Make it part of your routine. Susan's saying, doing a lot of healing work using hypnotherapy, being able to heal a lifetime of stress, reclaim parts of myself which have brought back energy and physical health. So much more peace about everything. My life began again at 50. That's a great way to say that. Thank you, Susan. I'm glad that you have found the work that is getting you where you want to go, right?
Yes. David's friend is watching, and I love this name, and I'm not sure how to say it. Jubilee? Anyway, hi, welcome to the show.
I don't see that. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. This has been a fun discussion. Obviously, we're just scratching the surface, but we're glad you're here on the ride with us, and we love you just the way you are. And I wish we were all here. We could go walk every morning or something like. Just
I know, that would be fun. Maybe
have our lemon tea that Emma makes, and all go on a nice little walk or dance or something to just kind of get our mojo on. Maybe we should do like a little morning
Facebook Live. Another thing we were thinking about doing, and I'll make this really quick, it is I would love to do where we do the shows that we interview and we talk astral travel and all the stuff we do, and then also how do we apply some of this? I mean, we're in practice. I'll never get it right, but but how can we all help support each other in talking about death or getting older or whatever? So anyway, 2 different types of shows.
Well, thank you. I'm Sarah. We love you, Sarah. This is
Hi,
her topic. You have had your life in exercise psychology and movement and owning gyms. So I'm gonna tap into you for how to do this for myself, because it's feeling more and more important to me.
It is staying youthful longer.
Thank you everybody for joining us. Hop on to YouTube later, subscribe, share this with other folks who are on the same spiritual journey who might benefit from this. If you have ideas for shows and guests, we're always open to hear from you and hear your experiences. Or if you're coming through town, come meet us like we just did with Terry and Michelle. It was so nice to put arms around them.
Yeah, it really is. Our tribe is just getting bigger and bigger, and we appreciate all you guys. Y'all are awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week on Joyride.
I love you.
Bye.
I love you.